Welcome to The Fix,
the new way to get your copy reviewed by two former copy chiefs.
because whether you're an aspiring copywriter or you've been in the industry for decades,
The best way to improve your work isn't to read books, blog posts, or online guides.
is to see real writing, your writing, being reviewed and improved in front of your eyes.
And that's the goal of The Fix, to bring you inside a virtual writer's room
And watch along as we review, edit and rewrite real copy.
from real writers like you. So let's get straight into this week's episode. And remember, if you like what you see here,
Please share The Fix with anyone you think would find it valuable. It is completely free.
Hello and welcome to episode 8 of The Fix. Hard to believe we've done 8 of these already. Please do keep your copy coming in. Today we're going to look at a piece of copy that's a little bit different to everything else we've looked at so far, but I think that's a good thing. Let's dive straight into it and then we'll make some comments on the copy. So Glenn, I'm going to share my screen. As always, tell me if you can't see the copy. Can you see it?
a little bit bigger.
Oh, this again. Right.
Bit too. Wait.
Bit more?
No, sorry.
You happy? Right. Right, let's go. I have a massive screen, so everything looks big to me. Right, let's go. The comment on the copy was that there could be a picture included. However, there wasn't one, and we'll just forget that that suggestion was even there because I don't think it's that important to the copy. So it's called the High Density Steam Cleaner. With more people now spending time working at home, wouldn't you like a home that is chemical free? Would you not like a home that is chemical free? Well, you can. There's a few errors in the copy. I'm just going to skim through and over those because they're not really relevant to what we want to talk about. House cleaning has never been easier, healthier, and cheaper, all with one machine. You can now clean your entire home with one machine and save money in the process. No more chemicals to mask odors or clean floors or remove stains. All you need is tap water, and the H2O will do it all with steam. Not just does it clean with steam, it also sanitizes, deodorizes, and kills 99% of known bacteria. The H2O is an advanced steaming machine that cleans and sanitizes floors, all kinds of floors, sealed hardwood, laminated floors, tiles, vinyl, slate, granite, marble, and even steams carpets, furniture, killing 99% of bacteria as it has the tools to do this. It steams carpet with a carpet glider. It can be a handheld steamer, giving you flexibility with an extension hose. It can be a window and glass cleaner with window and garment cleaning tools. As you can steam your clothes and garments, there's no need for an iron anymore. I'm going to just read through the second paragraph slightly quicker than I usually would. Because it has super absorbent clothes pads with duster tools, it can steam and sanitize your mattress. How often do you do that? You can clean your cooker because it has wire, nylon brushes and cleans work surfaces as well as bathroom tiles, shower heads, bathroom walls, toilet bowls, as well as floors, mirrors, and no problem, it has a jet nozzle. The H2O HD uses ordinary tap water and turns it into superheated steam to help sanitize and deodorize your home. It has a 360-degree mop head, foldable handle, and is easy to clean and store. I don't understand the next bit, but it just says 1500 watts of steam power. A multifunction steam system that cleans and helps to sanitize your home, making it healthy and free of expensive chemicals. Now you can clean your entire house easier and quicker than ever with just one machine, the H2O HD from another's website. Okay, I'm going to bring the two of us back. I've got a few comments to make on this. One thing that I would just say at the beginning, don't worry about errors within the copy. You know, we're not here to be spell check. We're not here to kind of pick up on that thing. However, I do think, you know, reading the copy aloud once before it comes in is probably usually going to be useful to you because it's going to enable me to read it easier. You know, I'm obviously read the copy before we come on air. I have to read it aloud. So that's just always worth doing. And by the way, it won't give you any more chance of getting your copy reviewed by us or anything like that. We pick the copy based on the points we can make and how interesting we think we can be about it and how useful we think we can be. However, that would be useful. And just one tiny verbal point I'd make about that is the importance of using full stops instead of commas, because sentences that run on that long become a little bit tricky. However, we're not really here to police grammar or kind of errors within the copy too much. Occasionally that's, what we might stray into. However, that's not what we're going to do today. So I actually picked this copy for a good reason. Well, several reasons. One, we haven't really done anything like this. Two, I just bought a steam cleaner yesterday. Well, I say I did. My wife bought it, but we went through it together. So I am in that vibe space when it, I'm a buyer. I'm a buyer of steam cleaners, Glenn.
I never thought this day would come when Nick O'Connor would become the owner of a steam cleaner. It's good you are, because that was one of my things that I've noted down. Is this a new thing? I'm a bit. It sounds like, so we have in our house, I don't know why I'm telling you this, but I will. We have a spare room that neither me nor Ruth really use. It's like a guest bedroom, but it's become known as the QVC room because Ruth loves QVC and just sitting and watching it. I literally, it would be like watching sales, like doing my job in my spare time, so I despise it, but I do pop in there now and again. But it feels to me like a QVC thing, like a steam cleaner, like it's one of those things. But I'm interested to hear your experience of it as a buyer of steam cleaners, whether it is, because that's going to inform the copy. But so you lead the way.
So I'm going to talk about how we bought a steam cleaner, why we bought it, and then how that might relate to the copy. However, the meta point I want to make is, as a copywriter, you need to go through this process regardless of whether you are yourself a purchaser of that item. You have to put yourself in the buyer's seat, if you know what I mean, and you have to go through this. Otherwise, you're going to pitch it at slightly the wrong level. Right, I would say this is a great example. Before I come to my own personal story, we have the directness or the awareness spectrum, right? So on one end of the spectrum we have most aware, and on the other end of the spectrum we have least aware, and underneath that we have levels of directness that we can use in our copy. So the more aware you are about something, the more direct you can be, and the least aware you are of a product, the most indirect you can be. Which is a roundabout way of saying, if somebody already knows what they want, you can talk directly to them about it. If you know what an iPod is, I can probably say, would you like a half-price iPod? So that's making me sound really old, isn't it? Who has iPods anymore? If you know what I mean, I can just make you an offer. Have this half price, because you know what the product is, you know what the brand is, and therefore I can be really direct. Some of the stuff that we talk about on this show quite often, the work that I do in the financial business, that's all. Most people aren't even aware it exists. To the extent that they are aware, it's very, very sort of, it's out there. It's, it's not a specific brand. It may not even be a specific product. They know they need an answer. They don't quite know what form that would take. So therefore you can be really, really indirect. And that's why lots of Agora sales copy is very indirect, because we're selling things that people don't actually truly understand or know about yet. So this is the other end of the spectrum, I'd say. This is something I may not be aware of the brand, but I am aware of what the product is. It is a steam cleaner. Why would I want a steam cleaner? Well, I have 2 young children. As I mentioned in the last show, one of them's just been in hospital. He brought a terrible bug home, but the other one caught it. Me and Gemma then caught it. So there's been a lot. If you've got young children, you'll know you become brilliant at cleaning vomit up, because they just go. It just happens. My eldest son is 3. He's getting a little bit better at saying, like, I'm going to be sick, and he can get it in a bowl. The other one just comes out, just boof. So that's why one may want a steam cleaner, because you start to get worn rugs, worn sofas, worn carpets, things like that, fabric that needs to be cleaned. It gets stains on. Now, it may not be child's vomit. However, I think that's the kind of market you're looking at. You could imagine an advert for this using like a red wine stain. However, a red wine stain is slightly cliche. Red wine on a white carpet, cream carpet. It's kind of the one that you would use. but really it doesn't actually speak to the buyer. The buyer is far more likely to be something a bit disgusting, spillages, cups of tea that have been knocked everywhere, you know, that sort of chaos of life. So how did we, so that was the context. We've got some nice furniture, it's getting ruined, we know we need to keep it clean. How do you clean it? Well, you look at a steam cleaner. So I know I want a steam cleaner. So the question I'm asking is, why is this steam cleaner better than all the other steam cleaners? It's a directness issue, okay? So I know I want it, or I think I want it. I need to be tipped over the edge, but there's a lot of choice. So what did we do? Well, we went on Amazon and we looked at price and we looked at reviews. Those are the things we did, okay? So we chose the one that seemed to have the best value, best reviews, and I think we were looking at something else. I can't remember. Gemma was doing it. That's the mindset you go through. So we bought one in the end. It was like, right, well, get this one. This looks really good. We can use it to clean all these things. We just put new carpets for the office that I'm building. This is going to be good. It can clean carpets and rugs and sofas. That's all a way of saying you have to kind of go through that process as a copywriter. And then really a product like this is a case of rolling your sleeves up and doing the kind of basics right. So I wrote down, be direct, find the USP. We'll come back to that in a second. You know, what makes your one of this? You know, what makes your steam cleaner better than all the other steam cleaners? Or if you can't do better, what makes it different? Testimonials and reviews. Do other people make it work? Is it good value? And why can't I buy it on Amazon? If this copy isn't going to run on Amazon, which is where I'm going to go to buy something like that, because it's going to come the next day. There's tons of reviews. So if you're not on Amazon, why aren't you on Amazon? That would be an objection. I think you have to run through those questions and answer each one of them. And then your sales piece almost just hits those underlying structures. And the reason I think it's useful is we don't talk about this that often. You know, we talked about the Hesed chairs, the bad back episode. That was quite direct. This is even more direct. This is, without being pejorative, more like selling toilet paper. I know I need it. You just got to convince me to sell me yours, you know? So I think that's the process that the writer should be going through. I don't quite think the copy does that. I think it does some of that. There's some benefits in there. So we've got uses no chemicals, uses water. Okay, that's quite good. Can be used on a ton of different things. Okay, that's quite good. Actually, it had a lot of different benefits in there, but it doesn't have that one thing. Why is this different to everything else? Why is it good value? And can you prove to me using third-party sources that this is better than the competition? And I think that's how we need to be putting a piece of copy together. So that was a long monologue. So Glenn, I'll let you talk.
No, it's all right. It's all. I agree, and it's a way of saying the way I see this, and it's funny because I make my initial things. This is the first time I'd looked at that piece, and as I'm looking through my quick notes that I've made, at what you're explaining there, Nick, I realise that all of my notes come really to a place where the real thing that this copy needs to fix it. But more holistically as like a learning exercise for copy generally, is, and without being too twee, but the first thing I wrote down was the question. It starts with a question, and I realised, and it's the same thing that you're talking about with directness and everything, but I actually think it's bigger in this case. It's more fundamental, but you're asking a question as, would you like this thing? Now, there's the basic rule of like, never ask a question in copy unless you know without doubt what the answer is going to be, and there is no other way of answering that thing. In most questions, the answer is, I don't care, is the answer to most questions that are asked in copy. It's like, do you want this thing? Imagine, what would your life be like this? You go, I don't know and I don't care, go away, I haven't got time for this stuff. But like, that's a general questions in copy debate. But for me, when you actually then analyze the rest of his copy, and as you say, there's touches of there's few too many features, a little bit leaning on features and not turning them quite into benefits, but there is talk of benefits. There's not talk of it's like not quite taking it there. There's little things where you're like, actually, that sounds really good, but you're not telling it slightly. You're telling me without really showing me the stuff. And there's that kind of feel. And what I'm trying to say is, it feels like the next piece of copy that was written about this would be the right copy to go with. It feels like you've done this, the writer going through this exercise, and almost that opening question that they use as a piece of copy is actually almost an opening question to themselves. What if this thing would happen? It's like, I don't know. You write the answer and tell me how good that would be, and then rephrase it all into a direct, like, statement-based thing based on what you're saying, Nick, of like, imagine if this was the case, and you go, right, well, it is the case. I've got proof of it. There's testimonials here, this thing. And all of the stuff that you're talking about would then come into there, and that's how you would show what was happening. So I think it's almost like a kind of, it reduces it a bit too much, but it's that kind of show and tell exercise where it's, at the moment, it's just telling you things, and it's not telling you with any confidence. It's also asking you a bit. It's going, is it all right if this is the reason you would buy this steamer, kind of thing, rather than going, this is why you want this one, this is why you want this is why you want that, and this is why you want that. And the answers to all of those questions is the stuff that's being asked in this copy. It's like a weird, like this is the working out almost, and the piece of copy would be the next, like, would be the natural conclusion to everything that's in this one, kind of thing. Well, so it just feels like it just needs to kind of do another rewrite of it, and I think you're almost there. And it's a weird thing. Like, I think there is good stuff in there, and it's the thinking's in the right place, but it's like, do the thinking for the reader. And I don't know. I'm now trying to think, because I've been speaking this morning to some people about, like, the important, like, so often in copy and taking a product is that you so too often spend too long with the product. You almost become, because you've got to become an ambassador for the product, you can sometimes forget that you need to explain why to the reader and put that reader there. I know that seems to be always saying go to the reader and everything, but like, it just feels like because you've got so, like, into the product, you're just not doing that exercise of going, now show the reader why that's good. And I feel like that's missing in this.
Well, why don't we workshop a couple of those points you just made? Because I've got some suggestions, I think. So there's two things that, well, there's three, but we'll take them on into. So one is getting the USP right. One is showing benefits and not features. And then the final one is offer. So we'll park offer to the end of the show, obviously, because it's kind of the natural point for it. So USP, features and benefits. Okay. Because this doesn't have a USP. It's got a lot of benefits. It's got everything. So it starts with, the actual question is, with more people now spending time working from home, wouldn't you like a home that is chemical free? So that's the first thing we say to our reader. Would you like a home that's chemical free? So that's basically what if we're leading with it, then it's our USP, right? But then that's not really brought back too much. There's tons of other things going on. So how might one generate a USP? Well, there's actually two routes. And well, I'm going to give you the two suggestions I have. One is to go and look at the rest of the market. So this will appeal to you, Glenn, right? If you're buying a Hoover, right? And again, I've bought plenty of Hoovers in my life. We do a lot of Hoovering in this house. Okay, see if you can tell me this, because you may not be that aware, but what's the way that how do Hoover companies tell you that their Hoover is a really strong Hoover, got a really good suction level on it and really cleans well? What do they do? How do they pitch it? Can you think?
Well, they show you. The thing that's in my mind is just showing you cleaning up a load of shit, kind of.
No, they do more than that. If you go and look at, if you go and try and buy a Hoover, they'll have normal Hoovers and they'll have Hoovers for people with pets. Yeah. And some of them even say 1 dog household, 2 dog households, 3 dog household. Right. Yeah. That's a metaphor. That's not, I buy those Hoovers. I don't have any dogs. I have 2 feral children. But don't you think that's clever, right? That's how they did. Do you want a really strong Hoover? We'll buy the 5 dog household one. Do you know what I mean? It's a clever way in. Now,
I actually noticed that my mum's got the dog. So we've got our dog. Weirdly, we haven't got a pet Hoover. my mum, we got the Hoover, and it's fantastic. It's very easy, and it's prompted me to actually Hoover. I don't really do a lot of Hoover, but it's so easy to use that I do use it. Then my mum got one because she was like, "Oh, this is amazing," and she got the pet one, which is obviously
exactly.
in her mind.
Exactly, because they use that as okay. Now you can buy it just because you're a pet owner, but it's also a way of saying, is your house like? Does it need a real good clean? You might even do like industrial. Now that's a different thing. You could do the same thing for something like this. So your USP could be, I'm going to pitch it to myself, for people with young children. That is a good market. Those people are going to buy. So you could almost say like, something like for busy homes with young children and toddlers getting everything from ketchup to, I mean, frankly, in this house, sometimes feces on the sofa. we clean it up straight away with our steam cleaner. You know what I'm saying though? Like you could pitch like that, because then you're saying this is for homes that really need to be cleaned properly. And then your follow-up benefit could be there's no chemicals. Because of course you don't want to use hard chemicals, but that's a follow-up benefit, right? So you could amplify that, talk directly to your readership. Now you might alienate some people, I don't need that. But like we just said, for people who just really want to get their house clean, that might well work, So you could go like in that direction as a USP, something that would really differentiate your product, even though it's just a use of the product, you can amplify it. Or you could go in another direction, which is to amplify just one benefit up in a slightly different way. So for instance, to give you an example, one of the features that's laid out here is it steams carpet with a carpet glider. Okay, feature. How do we turn that into a benefit? Well, it makes your carpets look as good as new. Okay, makes the rug look like the first day you bought it. It's new again. That benefit could even be the name of a product, the New Again steam cleaner, and that's make your house look, make your rugs, furniture, and carpets look like they're the first day you bought them. That's a benefit. Turns a feature into a benefit. And if you can amplify, that's a good benefit, I would argue. You can actually amplify that up, and that becomes your USP. See what I mean? So those are two different ways you could take this piece of copy. You could probably combine them, but I probably wouldn't. I might run a test. There are even product level suggestions, but that's how I would be going about this piece of copy, I think.
I think it's really interesting. I was worried when you were saying that, in the sense, because I'm thinking about it, and I obviously haven't bought a steam cleaner, and you've got the experience of that, but I'm thinking my experience of this is from what I've eavesdropped on QVC and all these kind of things. But when you talk about the wine on the carpet, the kids kicking mud on the thing, the pets leaving the crap around the house, it's like those are images that I am used to seeing, like in all cleaning adverts and what have you. They are ultimately cliches of awareness, and like you would go to these things, and I'm thinking, how do you create, because obviously what you're saying there, really good way of thinking about how to create that USP. And I'm thinking, will people be having the same reaction I do, where it's like, but is that really, like, aren't all steam cleaners going to claim to be like new? Aren't they all kind of going to be like that? And I think what you've got to think as a copywriter, obviously do the work, is keep asking, like, why is that? Why is that better than that? Why is that better than that? But to be practical again, and I certainly like to be practical as much as possible. You are a copywriter, and you're going to get a situation where one Hoover is the same as the other Hoover, and they're just competing products that have got these things. But what you're talking about there, Nick, I think is a good way of thinking about sometimes, no matter how much you ask why, no matter how much you dig down, and you still can't find that kind of full differential, it is literally the same product kind of thing, on a realistic scale, kind of like Burger King and McDonald's are the same. They're burgers, their taste. It's like it's a personal preference whether you want that burger or that burger. They're both shit burgers, do you know what I mean? they might be nice burgers. I don't know. I don't eat them. But just disclaiming for Burger King. But
they might be nice. Yeah, they might be nice. In the interests of balance, both of them might be
nice.
Yeah.
Like, don't eat meat. The world's on fire. Anyway, the point is that they are things. So they look for different. But you've got to be practical. You've got to find interesting new way and create USPs that it's a unique way of selling that product. It's not necessarily what fully makes that product unique. You're just looking for a unique selling proposition. Like, I think people might sometimes get a bit lost in that, where it's like, oh, but I can't find what's completely different about this thing. And it's like, no, you need to just find a unique way of selling this thing. And that's where you go, right, well, actually saying it makes your carpets clean again, it's the new again cleaner, is a unique way of selling that in the market. If you go with all these other universal kind of cliche things, they're gonna, if you lead on them, which this piece of copy does a little bit, it's a bit too heavy on those universal things. You're not leaning on one of the unique ways of doing, or you've not found a unique way of doing that. So I think there's just sometimes some confusion over like finding a USP. Is that, oh, I can't find it because it's the same as product X, and it's like, no, it might be the same, but how can you find a unique way of selling it?
I've got actually an idea on that. I mean, just to build on what you were just saying, you know, I said new again. I can't remember what the other thing I said was, but to do with children. But I mean, there's other things in this piece of copy. So there's clothes. It's a steam cleaner you use on your clothes to get them new again or whatever. That could be its own piece of copy. Or bathroom tiles. You know, if you've got mold issues in your bathroom, that's quite a common thing, right? You get mold growing in your shower. This is the solution to that. And the great thing about our industry is you could probably write 4 pieces of copy, put them all out there, and the market will tell you which one is like, oh, actually, it turns out if you sell it like it cleans mold on a bathroom wall, that just really gets people.
The ironing stuck out for me. I've written ironing down because as soon as you say ironing, I don't like ironing. I mean, I don't iron anymore. I just hang stuff and ultimately steam it is the thing. But like that would get me a bit more because it's something I don't want to do. That's like a unique way maybe of selling that item. But it's just, you build that up. But as you say, then that might be one way of selling. You might have another way. You might be able to go and those different things. What I think this also proves or shows is that you can't try and be all things to all people. Like you might clip off them kind of, oh, plus it does like red wine, it does kids sick and it does whatever at the end, get that detail there. But what's the thing that's going to get me at the top? Do I want a chemical-free home in this case? I mean, you're talking to a man who's lax about cleaning and like Ruth does too much and I am very lazy in that department kind of thing and trying to improve. But like realistically, I'm not looking around my home thinking there's chemicals everywhere. Like it's not a real worry I have. Like, and I am pretty aware of stuff like that, but like it's not a big worry. It's not for me, it's not the biggest like objection I have. And I don't think if I'd come to you, Nick, saying, right, your kids are being sick everywhere and what have you, are you worried about chemical thing? I don't think you would be. I just don't think it's high on your list of things.
Not enough to ultimately catch my attention. I mean, it might be a corollary benefit, but we're talking about the thing, right? The one.
Yeah, and also that again, this right, they've gone there about working from home and that kind of idea. So they've done, that's really interesting. That's a better line of thought. But I work from home all the time. Do I want to be, am I worried about chemical? No, that's not a thing. But do I not want to be getting covered in my own crap and like having to clean all the time? So we have hardwood. I have a weird rule. It's not a rule. It's a weird obsession. I'm just a weird person, but like we don't have any carpets, curtains or wallpaper in our house. We just live in a strange brick box.
How do you make it dark then? I've never
been.
We
have blinds. We have blinds, things, but I don't like curtains. I find them I don't know, meaningless. And
blinds, of course, are
blinds are clean lines. Carpets, I just think hardwood floors are better, and wallpaper are just a waste of time. Nice colours in the house. I realise this room is white. It's the only room in the house that is white, but I don't have any of that stuff. But we do have a Pablo that sheds hair like you've never known. So hardwood floors are constantly, I'm hoovering all the time, like you hoover once and within 5 seconds there's more hair on the floor kind of thing. I would love that not to happen. Now I know this is a steam cleaner thing, but I think it's in the same ballpark of like speaking to real life stuff that's happening. I work from home all the time. Do I want to cut down how often I'm trampling dirt in the house or on my carpet all the time? Do I want to cut down how often I need to clean it? Do I need to reduce my time, give that stuff back, just get into those deeper benefits a little bit? It's really about my time and what have you, and stuff like that. Cost of having to clean and all this kind of stuff. Rather, again, realistically, I know we live in a sustainable world, but whereas the business might worry about it and what the PR company and bigger media story might be, a real person at home doesn't go, oh, I'm going to go and buy that from there because it's sustainable. It's just not true. Like, it's just not what's really happening. It might be a thought, but they're not thinking in the same way with chemical. I don't think they're thinking, oh, all them dirty chemicals are going to be naughty kind of thing. They're going to buy the cheap bleach. They're going to buy the thing. It's like, it's just distressed purchases that you go and get. So I think work on those deeper benefits. Again, you mentioned about features and benefits. Like, you need to change those features into the benefits and then just think, well, what is the deeper benefit? What's the emotional thing? What is the real, what really makes people tick? What keeps them awake at night and stuff like that? Again, I'm never laid there thinking, oh, I've got too many chemicals in the house. It's just not my worry. Oh, I'm working from home today. Am I going to have a chemical attack on me? No, it's not going to happen. I'll go down for lunch today and it'll just smell bleak.
Ironically, at the end of the show, we'll fade to black and it will say,
like, just a coronavirus particle like floats in and just takes over the screen. But yeah, no, I just don't think that's a big thing. And I think whether the copyright's been led there by the product and the owner, maybe, I don't know, but I would just push back on that and follow down the work from home part. I think is a good one, but it's like, what does that really mean? Put yourself, like we said at the beginning, put yourself through the experience. So you've gone through the experience of buying a steam cleaner, and what you go through, you're looking for testimonials, looking for proof because of your directness, because your awareness of it is quite high. You're going to buy this thing, like you've already done what you're not walking past going, hey, I might buy a steam cleaner today. That's interesting. I mean, the world of QVC works like that, but that's it, by the by. But you go in there, you're finding that you've got all these elements, you've been through that, but then so you've looked at the product, and as we say, you either look at the product or you look at the reader, you look at the purchaser. So and go, where is that person? Have they got kids who are messing up the house? Talk about that more. How will they be messing up the house? What's actually happening? What's going on? Like, the wine glass cliche is kind of a cliche because it really happens, but like, what really happens nowadays? What's the real stuff that's getting dirty, and what's like thing? I think there's so much more work that can be done on that rather than the lazy images, but also go through of, like, as you say, working from home now. A lot more of your audience are working from home. What are their worries about working from home when it comes to cleaning? They've got to clean more. They've got to do this stuff. Their clothes, they might have to wash their clothes more often or less if they're not dressing or whatever. But it's just like, think about those real experiences and not what we think a product is actually going for. Like, oh, well, it's less chemicals. It's like,
I wonder if we can boil it down to something that's sort of more abstractly true for all copywriters. So, you know, when we're talking about finding your USP, and we talk a lot about the rule of one, which is a specific thing that we learned, but it's really just all advertising is built around one thing. It's the economy, stupid. Education, education, education. Your politics is the same. Hammer home one message. And that's why you tend to get copy, bullets, because you go one thing, then lots of things. That tends to be how the copy works. Piece of copy like this, or if you're looking at your piece of copy at home, and it's absolutely fine to lay it all out, kind of get it all out on the page, right? Get all the possible features and benefits out in a big sort of copy vomit. But what you then need to
clean it up.
Yeah. What you need to do, get it out, but then you've got to select and amplify. And there's risk there. And it's the reason copywriters don't do it is because they don't quite know which one is the thing. So they go with everything. They go with all the possible things they could say. That's the worst thing you can do as a copywriter, because all you do is just cloud your message. None of the things will work. And worse, you won't even know if one of them could have worked because they all clouded each other. So you've always got to take a risk. This is why testing is great, because you can say, do you know what? There's 4 possible ways we could sell this. I'm going to write 4 pieces of copy, each that features a key USP at the top, and we will test that. If you're working with marketers that won't test, we'll cover that on a different day. we'll cover. I mean, but it's true. There are plenty of marketers that won't test. That's a sort of cancer of the marketing industry. Fine, we'll deal with that separately. But the central point is get it out, select what could be right, amplify that up, let it survive or fail on its own terms, and then learn and move on. Don't just dump it all out there. And I think that's true of all copywriting. And it's risky, right? Because you've got to make a decision. You can't put it all there. You've got to choose and say, I think it might be this, and that's risky. But that's what we're paid to do ultimately, because if that risk comes off, you get the credit. And of course you can stack the deck in your favor by saying, I think we should try this and this, and hopefully one of them will win, right? They might both do poorly, but one of them will do better than the other, but you can learn something.
Yeah, I think as well. So I think, yeah, that's like learning number one is the understanding you're looking for a unique way of selling that product. It doesn't necessarily need to be a uniqueness within the product. If it can be, make it so. But then other than that, amplify one of the elements of the product in a unique way, and that will allow you to do that. The other thing about this piece of copy, and I think what it teaches us as well, is that you need to do that, to understand where your product is in the market and to understand what makes it unique, really unique and really interesting. Used the word unique far too many times and I hate the word, but what makes it interesting, and where you might find those ideas to pull out and turn into better benefits. But you've got to look at the competition and you've got to see where the market is at and what they're doing. Now, there was something in this, I made it straight away because it got me, first of all, as like new to this thing. And I think this is what a lot of copywriters go through. Oh, you can clean everything with tap water. And that for me was a line that I was like, that sounds interesting. Like, oh, wow, that's a cool thing. Like, I'm a fan of cleaning things with tap water because I'm lazy. I just like wash with tap water and Ruth says you're not clean that properly. You need to actually use a cleaning item to do that. But like, I'm thinking, oh, right, okay, tap water. But then as I thought about it for 1 second longer, I went, well, that's what steam is. Like, of course, that's what that is. It's just a clever way of saying that. And I thought, right, what's happened there is what will happen with so many copywriters where you first discover something and you go, all right, yeah, that sounds really good. That's really interesting. And you go, oh, I'll write about that. And then you go, oh, wait there. That's what everybody already knows. Like, that's already the thing. Like, that's just, I've discovered this for the first time and I've not actually then taken it to the next level and gone, oh, well, everybody knows that. What's the actual thing that people do? So I think to do that, you need to do what you were saying in the beginning, Nick, is go through that. Look at the testimonials, look around at the competition. And I feel like the copywriter here would probably benefit from having a look at what are other people saying about similar products and work out the differential from that point of view as well as the product itself. What is the competition saying? What are they doing? It feels like there might have been a little bit of, like that sounds really good, rather than realizing that, oh yeah, everybody knows that already. Like, you need to go to the next level to make that figure that out.
Speaking of the competition in the market, let's kind of close by talking about offering, or the offer, or the means of actually selling. So I think if you're selling something very direct, like this, you're selling it directly, people know what it is to a certain extent, you need to give them a compelling reason to buy this and buy now. I mean, you always do, but there are certain times where you can be more direct than others. So I'm going to go on, look on Amazon, right? That's what I'm going to do. So if this isn't on Amazon, you've either got a problem or you've got an opportunity, depending on how you think about it. So a couple of things you could do: list it on Amazon, but if you want to sell it through your own website, say we offer a double length money back guarantee. So you can go and buy it here, or you can buy it from us and you get a 90-day money back guarantee compared to, or you get cheaper price. I don't think Amazon like you doing that. I don't know a ton about Amazon, but I do know that that's where I buy things. That's where the market is, right? So you have to give me a compelling reason, and a compelling reason to buy now. So you've got to think about things like money back guarantee, discounts, RRP, all of these things, price tag, and you've got to do that in the piece of copy. You've got to make me feel like, oh, this is great. This is the thing I'm looking for. Look, it's half price. If I don't like it, I can send it back. Oh, and look, if I buy it before this day, I get even more money off, or whatever. It's usually with these things, I get a free nozzle or a free ironing adapter or something. Do you see what I mean? It's marketing 101, isn't it? I'm getting good value. There's a discount. I'm not taking a risk. I can send it back and I get something extra.
We don't buy anything online anymore unless it comes with a nozzle.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean,
I've got so many. I mean, I buy like books, but each one comes with a nozzle.
Yeah, it's a good thing. You don't have any curtains in your house, because there'd be no more room for nozzle.
There'd be no nozzle room.
But just to round off on that important point, that in all copy, we need to think about how we're going to actually close the sale. Certain times it's easier than others. But something like this, you've got to get me to buy it now. Otherwise somebody else is going to sell me it. I want to buy a steam cleaner. There's a reason that car salesmen are so pushy, and it's because you don't go on the lot, to use the American expression, unless you want to buy a car. You just don't. They know that. Unless you've got a really weird reason, you're on some level, you're interested in buying a car, and they know if they don't sell you a car, someone else will sell you a car instead. So they're trying to get you, and there's various techniques they use, and it's not always hard to sell. I'm not making that accusation of that, but there's a reason they try and get you to buy, and it's because they know somebody else will come and sell you instead. And that's a function of the directness and the awareness. You want to buy, I've got to make you buy this one, otherwise a competitor will eat my lunch. So you've got to think about offer, guarantee, discount, value proposition, and you've got to hit me with it. You don't have to be hard sell, but you've got to put it in front of me to make me buy.
And also, that's one, when you do that, when you know that as the copywriter, you then might find that informs the top of the copy too. That might be a way of finding a unique way of selling this product. There might be an offer or an element you can make, free nozzle, for instance, where it's so powerful and so does the work itself, that might be what you want to bring to the top. It's always worth knowing that before you go into the copy idea anyway, because yes, you're going to have all your idea-based stuff here, or like your more emotional stuff. But sometimes, use this for 2 weeks, and I guarantee you will not have any sick in your house, kind of thing. It's like you might be able to lead with that as well. So it's worth doing that. Well, it's not worth it. It's essential to do that work as well.
Absolutely. We could go on, because I just thought about 10 more different guarantees you could do. But I think perhaps we should do a whole episode on offers and guarantees, or a series of episodes. So we'll wrap things up there. Please do send your copy in to us. We're gonna I've had some messages to the inbox over the last few weeks about people interested in how to get a job in the world of copy. A few about the Agora world in particular, and a few about just the world of copywriting. So in the next few weeks, we're going to do some episodes on that. Just some tips and tricks and pieces of advice. The good news that I will kind of put out there as a hook, I suppose, is that all businesses are always looking for new good copywriters all the time. there's never a business where they say, oh, we've kind of got enough of them. It's never the case, or in my experience, certainly. Copywriters are always in demand. So we'll talk about how you can tap into that demand and give yourself a better chance of getting a job or getting an opening or getting a lead into a company in a future episode. If you've got specific questions about that issue, send them in to us. But as always, send us your copy and we will take a look at it. Glenn, I think we should sign off there. Thank you very much, everybody. Glenn is going to get back to his nozzle collection. I'm going to get back to the piece of copy I was writing, and we will see you all next time. Goodbye.
And there we have it. We hope you got something valuable out of today's episode of The Fix.
Maybe it sparked an idea or two for your next writing project. Maybe it triggered a new headline, opening line, or story to tell your reader.
Maybe it inspired you to scrap what you have and start over. Or maybe it made you want to submit your current work in progress for a little constructive feedback.
If that's the case, then please send it to us at feedback@longcopymasterclass.com.
Or if you don't want us to review a specific piece of writing, send us a problem you're trying to solve.
Or a challenge you want input on, and we'll do our best to help.
And remember, if you like The Fix, please do share it with other writers, business owners, and marketers.